morning, everybody, and happy Yule to my brothers and sisters of the pagan faiths. Hi, all couple of you, because my channel's not that big and there's not that many of us. I hope everybody's been liking the way I've been breaking down the content as far as trying to give more equal time to the topics I cover. If you're new, check out the playlist because if you like the newer videos, there's probably some of the older ones that'll probably help you out too. I'm just saying, and they don't cost anything to watch, but be cool if you like and subscribe to help the channel grow and help me in an algorithm that doesn't like small channels like me because I'm not in the club. I've never been in any club with the connected people. In fact, I speak out against them, which is a very big part of why things have played out the way they are, and my videos tells that story. You should watch them. Again, free. If you would like to tip me because this channel has helped, you can send a super thanks, or there's a link to the Cash App that I'll put in the description. It's also in the about section that tells you about the channel. So I've noticed since running this channel, some people contact, or will leave me a message because they're interested in someone in their life that they're pretty damn sure is an INFJ, or they flat out know they're an INFJ. And I did a few videos on, what an INFJ looks for and what we want in love and a relationship, things of that nature. But I think another important thing to cover is what are the 10 quickest ways to piss one of us off? In other words, if what's going to get you on an INFJ's bad side real quick, and what is going to make them withdraw super fast and be like, no, I'm not trusting you. And since people like when I do numbered list, I pick 10. I usually pick 13 because coven and all that. 13, I like that number. So 10 quickest ways to piss off an INFJ. Number 1, lie. We hate it. We hate it. We hate it. We hate it. INFJs are very open and honest about who we are and what we're looking for in terms of our life goals, but more specifically in a relationship. An INFJ will straight up tell you how many people they've slept with, what they're looking for in a relationship, what they have no interest in, what has ruined other relationships. But we expect that honesty in return. It can't be a one-way street. So if you lie to us and try to portray yourself as someone or something that you are not, eventually it will catch up on you. And INFJs are known to be vengeful. So in that case, we will spotlight you and call you out and make sure everybody knows who you really are, when you could have just been honest, and we probably wouldn't have judged you for that. Speaking from my own experiences, we're not judgmental about, things that other people may be judgmental about, as long as you're upfront about them in the beginning. I mean, a lot of my ex-girlfriends were, in their younger years, were girls with reputations, but that didn't matter because, well, all except one was honest to me, but the one that wasn't honest was also a borderline. So there's that. Number 2, don't doubt our intuition. And don't flip-flop on this, because I've had this happen where someone will be like, oh, how did you know this about me? But, who did you talk to? Nobody. You can read me like a book. Wow. And just amazed with how deep the conversation can go and how I can not only read them, but understand them about why they did the things they did and things that they may not have been proud of, but I'm not judging for it because I can, intuitively guess why that person made that decision at that time. But then the same person not long after will be like, I'm in a bad situation. And I'll be like, well, yeah, this is what's going on. Yeah, you're right. Then they ask for help. And then when you try to help, they vilify you and tell you you're out of your mind. It's like, wait a minute. I've read you intuitively for a while, and I've been dead on your words. Now all of a sudden, you're scared of what's going to happen if you do something about a bad situation that you want out of. And now all of a sudden I'm mad as a hatter, even though my intuition is yet to be wrong, that kind of stuff. INFJs are very truthful. Sometimes, we are blunt and hard truths. But if you ask us for our, what do we think, and we give you an honest, intuitive insight into whatever the situation may be, We're going to tell you what we think is going to happen, not what you want to hear. And you may not want to hear or accept what our intuition is telling us. Nevertheless, it is most likely about an 85% chance that that's what's going to play out. And we're going to tell you that it doesn't matter who the people are involved are, or who the person that may be doing something bad is, or who they're connected to, or who their grandfather was 40 years ago, but that's mainly a Chester County thing, you know. So if you asked us for our intuition, and our intuition has been proven to you, do not doubt it when it's telling you something that you don't want to know. Number 3, this is a big one too. Question my integrity. Do not question an INFJ's integrity. It is our most important possession because no one can take your integrity from you. Only you can give it away. And INFJ's, and I'm a really good example at this, will preserve their integrity at all costs, even at great detriments to themselves, be it their social life, their love life, their career. So, you know, the way an INFJ values integrity is, I would put it second only to unconditional love, which is very elusive for us. So we won't ruin our integrity to fit in, to be popular, to preserve the status quo, to be bribed, to get a promotion at work. I mean, it is something that we're just not willing to compromise. So once again, if you're going to question it simply because, you know, to appease some like know all be all queen of everything type, yeah, that's the we're gonna shut down on you real quick. Number 4, if you act and speak like a bigot, a racist, or a misogynist, INFJs hate double standards. We believe everybody's equal, you know, regardless of race, sexual orientation, gender identity, religion, you know the list. And, you know, especially if you grew up where I did, and that means everybody too. Like everybody has the same, should be held to the same standards. You know, I don't care who you know, who your dad drank beer with 30 years ago and who that person may have been. I don't care how long your family's been in this area. We're in the United States. We don't have an aristocracy. That was kind of the whole point of the country. So, you know, where I'm from, there's these made up like people that they think they're royalty in that township because something 50 years ago, and it's a bunch of crap. So I don't care about that. INFJs aren't big on setting rules because we're not really a big fan of rules. But when rules are in place, we are very adamant that they apply equally to everybody. We abhor double standards, like, oh, we're going to judge this person harsher because they're them. Oh, but this person's in the good old boys club, so they can get away with whatever they want. No, fuck that. No, and we're going to call it out, and we don't care, you know, how many good old boys or how many queens of everything clutch their pearls because they think they're, you know, something special because they said so, or because of some relative that did something cool decades ago before their birth. Yeah. Number 5, hurt a defenseless. Now, one thing INFJs cannot stand is those that exploit and abuse those that cannot defend themselves. So people that abuse animals, children, babies, you know, men that beat women. You'll get the INFJ rage real quick. If you want to see just how like rage filled and demonic an INFJ can get, you know, full fury, yeah, do that and you'll see it. And again, we don't care who you are or how you think the rules don't apply to you. I'll tell you this much from a personal situation. I don't care. It doesn't matter how connected you are, how rich you are, who you know. If you do something like this and an INFJ comes at you fully enraged, it's going to be between you and that INFJ. Your connections isn't going to slow them down. It certainly never slowed me down. But yeah, and it's just, that's something reprehensible, and we'll not only deal with that situation, we'll make sure everybody knows who you really are and what you did, and make sure that that follows you for the rest of your life, as it should. And especially, you know, rapists, in their case, you're getting hexed too if the INFJ happens to be a witch, which a lot of us are drawn to witchcraft, or they'll go to someone who is. Be a wolf in sheep's clothing. So basically, you know, a covert narcissist. be like the type of person that pretends to be caring and empathetic, but really they're only out for themselves and all they care about is getting what they want. And they'll pretend to help someone and be their friend when they're useful. And then the second that person's no longer useful, or if it's in the best interest of that wolf in sheep's clothing to sell that person out, to expedite whatever their end game is, they'll do it. Yeah, false friends, things of that nature. INFJs, we are very selective with who we open up to, but like most things in our life, it's all or nothing. If we're there for you, it means we're really there for you, whether it's convenient for us or not, and whether or not it'll be a detriment to our own situation. We're not, we're selective with friends, but when we pick one, we're not fair weather friends. So we cannot stand the backbiting and the gaslighting and the wolf in sheep's clothing stuff. And again, like most things, we find them, we call them out. Okay, number 8, do not act as if you think you know an INFJ better than they know themselves. One, out of all the types, we're the most into trying to understand ourselves because we don't really understand it. So how can you really understand me if I don't understand me? Because I'm hard to understand because introverted intuition is weird. So don't tell us who we are or what we're looking for, because INFJs are often very reserved. There's very few people who truly get to know the complexities of an INFJ. We're very complex and we're very paradoxical too. So you can't take a few tidbits of information and draw a logical conclusion from it, because literally walking paradox. So what seems like it makes sense, Occam's razor doesn't apply to us. We're weird. Number 9, do not violate our principles. INFJs are very principled people with integrity. So the principles we have, we set for ourselves. We don't care what society says or what's cool at the time. But the ones we have, we truly believe in. We're not professing them to try to seem cool or whatever popular at the time. It's stuff we actually believe, and INFJs have hard red lines. And if you ask us to cross said hard red lines, then you instantly become somebody we can't trust, because you're untrustworthy because you don't believe in anything. You're either just someone who's told what to think, what to do, who to be with, or you're in that like slave girl mentality, and there's no helping you. You're a shadow with no substance. Number 10, tell me to do something I was already planning to do. Yeah, we don't like that either. If we're planning on doing something, and given the circumstances, it may take time to put that into fruition. Don't constantly tell us to be doing it. We're INFJs are planners, so we plan things out. We overthink. So when we want to get something done, and we're perfectionists, so we want to make sure it gets done right, which means it may take longer, because when we plan to do something, we plan to do it right because we actually care about it. We're not just planning to do it to say you did it or to be cool, because we don't care about that. Unless you're like the one person that we're interested romantically at the time. Beyond that, we don't care what anybody thinks. So here are 10 things that if you're trying to get close to an INFJ, this will make the INFJ shut down on you real quick. It's only 10 things. I probably could have did 50 because we're complex people, but I covered the big 10 instead. If this video and this channel has helped you, please like and subscribe. Help the channel in the algorithm, as it doesn't cost anything. And of course, please leave gratuities for this channel if I've been a help, either by the super thanks button or the Cash App link below. Remember, trust your intuition, INFJs. If you think somebody is inauthentic, they probably are. And remember, we don't sell out our integrity for anybody, no matter how much money you're offering us, no matter how pretty you are, no matter what you could promise us. INFJs are not ones to make a Faustian bargain.